The man in the footage is 34-year-old Israel Keys, silently setting in motion a gruesome crime that will unmask the predator he truly is.
I don't need you guys.
February 1st, 2012, he kidnaps 18-year-old Samantha Koenig. But in the interrogation room, what unravels is beyond shocking.
They know that there's 10 or 11 victims.
For now, he laughs, but soon he will scrawl 12 skulls in his own blood, each one a silent confession to another victim.
I'm not going to get another opportunity like that, at least not within my lifetime.
For weeks, no one knew where Samantha Koenig was until her family received a chilling ransom photo. But there was only one problem. Samantha was already dead when the photo was taken. The killer was miles away on a cruise with his family, relaxing, living carefree after murder. But the man made a mistake. He used Samantha's debit card again and again. Texas, Arizona, New Mexico. Every swipe lit up the FBI's radar. On March 13, 2012, a highway patrol officer, while on the lookout in Texas, pulled over a white rental car. Inside, zip ties, a mask, guns, and Samantha's ATM card. That's how Israel Keys was caught. He didn't run. He didn't panic. He simply smiled. And when he was brought into the Anchorage FBI interrogation room, he was ready to talk, but not about everything. Only on his terms, and only if the detectives played his game. What the agents didn't know yet was they weren't just dealing with a kidnapper. They were sitting across from a serial killer.
How are you doing today, Israel?
All right.
Hey, just before we start, I know these guys reviewed your rights earlier.
Yes.
Okay. And then you were just meeting privately with Rick Kerner, your attorney.
Yes.
And Rich just came out and indicated that you did not want him to be present today.
Correct.
Okay. So again, I want to make sure we have those ground rules. Rich told me that you indicated that you did not want him present today. So we will take you at your word on that. And if at any time you would like us to call Rich back or any other attorney, please stand by counsel. Please let us know, okay?
All right.
We're only going to be talking about things unrelated to the Samantha Koenig case today. You understand that?
Understood, yes.
And obviously, without your attorney present in the Koenig case, we won't be able to talk about anything related to that case. And if you start to talk about it, we're going to have to stop being with you, okay?
Yes.
All right.
FBI agents had questioned Israel Keys multiple times before, more than 6 sessions in fact, with each ending in silence and deflection. But now, they've come back for what might be their final attempt, and this time, something feels different.
That's been sitting in the refrigerator for the...
Thank you.
Well, here's the thing, the FBI's been cleaning out the refrigerator. So talking about other crimes, we wanted to kind of pick up where we left off on some things, give you any information that you might be thinking about over the last few weeks.
Right.
Related to that. And I think we had some updates on the New York search. If that's it. Why don't we start there?
Okay, and also the live feed, I wanted to jump into that, because I know we came over on Tuesday. We had it set up, we had a couple guys up in Tupper Lake. To go over the bank route. Yeah, a bit of a drive.
That was a 3-hour drive.
Where they were at.
From the outside, it may appear the detectives are being unusually lenient with Israel, a man who committed unthinkable crimes. But this wasn't their first encounter. In earlier interviews, he refused to reveal anything. Now, his demeanor tells a different story, one that forced detectives to shift their entire approach.
Yeah, in all fairness, I never set up a specific day, but it actually would have worked because my attorney didn't show up till that afternoon.
All right, well, it didn't work that day, but we had hoped to have it set up today, when we found out was going to work for today. But Albany had some other stuff come up. But I have to say it was pretty cool. We tested it in the way that, just so you have an idea of what it looks like and what to expect. Because we'll try to set something up for next week. but we did 2 laptops. One of them was essentially like a tracker, so you had an overhead GPS Google Map kind of view.
Right.
And then the other one was a live feed actually from the camera. And then the plan, we had speakerphone, so then you can say, go right here, go left here. And our plan was just to use, because Tupper Lake's a little more remote than doing it in a city, we wanted to use Tupper Lake and just talk about the bank robbery because that was...
Make sure we have cell reception or wherever, and how they're getting the signal.
Because depending on where they're at, they have to use, sometimes they'll use satellite, sometimes they're looking to use different types of things in order to bring the...
Wow, fancy.
If that wasn't disturbing enough, what the detectives would uncover later was even more horrifying. Let's rewind to the chilly night of February 1st, 2012, when Samantha Koenig was still alive and full of life. At around 8 p.m., she was abducted from the coffee stand by Israel Keys, who posed as a customer. With a gun pointed at her, he forced Samantha into his car and drove her to his house, locking and trapping her in the shed. Such behavior is extremely disturbing. But regrettably, in Alaska, it's not entirely surprising. The state has one of the highest rates of violent crime per capita in the U.S., according to FBI data. Isolation, harsh conditions, limited resources. It creates a perfect storm for predators like Keys to operate undetected. Alaska is also famous for other notorious killers, like Brian Stephen Smith and Christopher Lee, whose crimes alone are enough to make anyone shudder. But now, let's turn to Israel Keys, and the moment detectives realized they weren't dealing with a one-time killer.
I assume some of these places we're going to go are going to be cell phone only.
If
Finally
that,
living up to people's expectations.
Well,
All those CSI shows.
They still can't usually get the thing solved in 1 minute.
yeah,
Really?
it's an hour show, but
I'm picturing the Google Earth car driving
Yeah.
around.
Right. Yeah, you should get one.
so we'd like to still do that.
Yeah.
And I don't have a day yet. I don't know a
Is there
specific
snow
day.
there yet? Probably, right?
There wasn't much. I mean, it wasn't something.
Just goes.
but
Yeah.
typically the morning works for you, right? Because that's what the 4-hour time
Typically.
is we can get that.
Yeah.
This counter don't want to drive 3 hours again. And maybe we could just do it in Albany or. But we thought the memory lane trip up Tupper Lake would be more interesting, maybe for both of us.
Gas is expensive. Within the budget.
Tupper Lake is probably still a good location now.
Yeah.
And the other thing is New York stuff. Show you what they took from the property in New York.
All right.
This is the list. And some of it's pretty, imaginary in terms of the description of what these wrote, but.
Wow. Really going way back, huh?
Now, let's just pause here for a second. The reason why the detectives are asking him about New York is because they made another shocking discovery. Hearing this would make anyone wonder how Israel is any different from Jeffrey Dahmer or Ted Bundy. Israel always had a plan. He killed for the thrill of it. He had stashed murder kits all across the U.S., and it was these kits that were found in New York, which ties to a person who went missing way back in 2009. But Israel's reasoning to this heinous crime is going to be nothing short of baffling to the detectives.
What stuff?
Just all this stuff. Anything from New York, you're going way back.
When's the last time you were there?
Well, I was there just a year or so ago, but living there, I haven't been there since.
You like stayed there in a.
You went by there
Just
in
decided to
2011, though, at the courier time.
Oh, yeah. Every time I'm back there, I go by, but I mean, all the stuff that's there is, it's like childhood memories.
Did you live there for a period of time?
Yeah.
How long?
A little less than a year.
Yeah, 7, 8 months, in 97, I think, right?
Yeah. 97.
Same.
I'm surprised the road is still there.
There's a lot of, on one side it's missing a lot of shingles. I mean, picture these pictures.
Yeah, I thought, last time I was there, I thought the roof had fallen in one spot.
But there's some other pictures, and apparently the basement, I got some pictures, the basement's got quite a bit of water in it. Oh, here you can see it better.
That's the indoor swimming pool.
Yeah, you can see it.
The high groundwater?
Yeah.
So this is the main house? Because there's a bunch of buildings or stuff.
There's like an old garage and an old shed, yeah.
Okay. And then here's the indoor swimming pool. In one of these pictures, you can, maybe it's this one, or maybe it's just the angle. One of the support beams
Yeah.
is coming down, and so it's not super stable.
Probably they were able to get down
That's through the window.
there.
You came down, put a ladder down through the window.
Okay.
Went down that way.
Yeah, those stairs.
Is that the kitchen of the main house? Have there been other people staying there that you know of? Is that what all this stuff is from? Let's see a close up of that. Or was that how it was when you were there?
Last time I was there, it looked like there had been hunters or campers hanging out in there.
They spent some time there?
Yeah.
Because there was a mattress on one of these floors too. It might be just opposite side here. There's a mattress in the kitchen area.
The man sitting here, consumed by pure depravity, was also a father to a 10-year-old girl, and yet he showed Samantha no mercy. Viewer discretion is not just advised, it's necessary. What you're about to hear is graphic, unsettling, and maybe too disturbing for some. This is not fiction. This is what really happened to Samantha Koenig. After confining her to a cold shed just feet away from where his own child slept, Israel tied Samantha up, gagged her, and left her there, alone, terrified for her life. He then turned up the radio to drown out her screams, while his girlfriend and child remained inside, completely unaware of the atrocities being committed mere feet away. He came back later, assaulted her, then left her tied up in the dark, as if she were nothing. Hours later, he returned again, only to strangle her to death, while Samantha's lifeless body lay frozen in the shed. Israel Keys was thousands of miles away, sipping cocktails on a Disney cruise ship with his family, as if nothing had happened. And if that wasn't twisted enough, what he did next was beyond disturbing. Days later, he returned to the shed, thawed her body, braided her hair, applied makeup, and sewed her eyes open, staging her corpse to appear alive for a ransom photo. Like some sick puppeteer, he manipulated a dead girl's body to maintain the illusion of hope for her loved ones. This was the text he had sent to Samantha's boyfriend. His crimes were monstrous, but apparently so was his spelling, purty instead of pretty, a final insult from a man who thought he was clever. Samantha's family thought they had hope, but Israel was already 10 steps ahead. After sending that ransom photo, what he did was unthinkable. He violated her dead body, not once, but multiple times, before he dismembered her and disposed of the pieces in Matanuska Lake by cutting a hole in the ice and dumping her body parts into the freezing water. But for Israel Keys, this wasn't a one-time crime. There's more to this story. And the horrors didn't start with Samantha. They started way earlier.
There was an invoice for some guns and ammo back in 1994.
I recognize some of the books vaguely, but it's been a while since I've been carrying that stuff.
Did you have a place up there that you go to buy guns?
No, not in New York. I never bought guns officially. I was always under the table.
Okay. We'll get the invoice, because they said the invoice was in your name in March of 1994.
I had a gun on it?
That's what I thought. I thought it had a gun on it. That was my interpretation, but I'll have them send up the invoice so we can look at it. Bunch of maps. Are those yours?
No.
Anything you should be
One of the
looking
days
for?
of computer. Any X's on them anywhere? Or anything?
No.
You should be looking
Put
for?
X's on my maps.
Highlight. Highlight.
I don't highlight that. The only map you found that had highlighting on it, I didn't.
Who did the highlighting on that one? What about the map that when you
I think
were...
there was one in the car that was highlighted.
When I was arrested, yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't do the highlight.
He indeed did that, and he had been doing it since 1994. Israel revealed to the cops later that he had committed his first violent assault in Oregon sometime in the late 1990s. He abducted and violated a young girl, but claimed to have let her go. However, his first known murder was of an unknown couple in Washington state in either 2001 or 2002. He had abducted the couple while they were camping, murdered them, and disposed of their bodies in a lake just like he did to Samantha. And in 2011, 4,000 miles away from Anchorage in Essex, Vermont, he murdered a married couple, Bill and Lorraine Currier. Even though the neighbors gave the police a sketch of the person who was seen driving a dark green Saturn sedan, the case went cold for nearly a year. It wasn't until Israel revealed that he had killed them. Even after all this, Israel had the nerve to sit in the interrogation and act in ways not even the cops could decipher. Moreover, they seemed to be completely catering to him. And yet, one question hung heavy in the air. Would they be able to extract all of his secrets?
The tray that holds the ammo in there, there's a perfect right thumbprint.
Yeah, right.
No, there is. I don't have the lab report back.
Wow.
More CSI stuff.
Yeah, I'm impressed. Well, I'm disappointed in myself mostly, but I'm excited.
The lab examiner called me. I don't have the report yet. When I get the report, then I'll show you the report. But I'm not being silly. It was on one of these two on the plastic tray inside.
Fair enough.
Like these is the speed of plastic, like a bottom view of
Yeah.
the top view of it.
Okay.
It slides into that cardboard sleeve.
Well, it was kind of in a hurry. I'm too lazy to even dig a hole for that one. Piled rocks on top of it.
Are you planning on going back for that?
Yeah, this summer. That would have been a good trip. I still can't get over the disappeared house in Vermont thing.
You have big plans for this summer? Back there?
Well, I'm gonna go back there. I picture driving up, looking everywhere for that farmhouse and not being able to find it.
To burn it down?
Yeah, that would have been fun. But whatever, you guys did that for me.
Speaking of Vermont.
Yeah, speaking of Vermont, we were talking to Vermont on Monday. They want to know what's going on. And they are interested in filing charges, as they have been all along.
What, federal?
Well,
You don't know?
No, I mean, we talked to both the state and federal prosecutors on Monday. And we want to know what we should tell them.
Well, it's a little hard to talk about my general overall perspective right now, for obvious reasons, so.
Well, just tell us your perspective. I understand that, and we're not going to do that, but we are interested in your perspective on the Courier murders, because that's what they're interested in.
Yeah, they're also interested in, your cooperation on other crimes and where that stands and whether you intend to follow through on some of that. So that's the kind of thing that they're looking for from us.
Well, like I've said all along, my cooperation on other crimes is dependent on what's going on with crimes that I'm already charged with. And I've said that all. As far as I'm even interested in the legal process of this.
Well, you've known, and we've talked about this quite a bit, that Vermont is willing to be patient if they think that there's forward momentum on solving other crimes, And I know that you don't care about that from the perspective of the families of other victims, but Vermont does. And so there's a way to meet in the middle by giving something that they can then have. No, they don't need to know the details of it, but they need to know we've got so that they can hold on.
I just don't understand why, even from a legal perspective, I don't understand what the hurry is or what their issue is as to why they want to file additional charges, when I'm clearly already charged with substantial ones.
Well, in Vermont, you've got state prosecutors who right now have an unsolved, according to the public, unsolved murder of the Couriers, right? So the law enforcement is under a lot of pressure.
They get calls from the press that they're telling us every week, so different state prosecutors are elected, so I think they probably feel it's more of a obligation to inform the public than people are informed. like mine.
But since they called off the search for the bodies, as far as the public knows, they can't even definitively say that it was a homicide. I know they already told everybody it was.
They know that, Vermont knows that.
They know, right, they know.
So Vermont, as you go, let's just be a really realistic approach to it. The state prosecutor in Vermont, you want to come out and say, hey, here are the charges. We've got the guy, case solved. That's what you want to do.
Right.
So you need to give them a reason to say, don't do that.
It's painful to watch FBI agents pleading Israel Keys to confess, knowing there are more victims still out there, families still searching for answers. But Israel's concern lies elsewhere.
Well, like I say, my perspective at this point is they're asking for a reason for me to give them a reason not to do that, and I have no reason to suspect that at this point that any information and any further information I give is going to be used or portrayed to the media in the way that I'm told it will be or won't be, just because that's the way it's played out so far. So if they're saying, I guess what I'm saying is, from my perspective at this point, it's a one-way street. And initially I thought there were ways that I could manipulate this situation, this case, all the related cases, to my benefit and on my timeline by withholding information and giving information out. And obviously, over the last few months, I came to the realization that I can't do that, not realistically. So,
Is that your real reasoning?
yeah.
I think we've talked about for a while, like, an idea of this whole resolution on a Courier case, being able to kind of structure that disposition around some of your demands. And, we touched upon that, and I know that we can't talk about the other case, but,
Right.
it seems to me that, if you give us a list of demands in connection with federal case on the Couriers, that we can try to at least start meeting those demands. And at least say, the Vermont state that there's an expression of an intent to continue cooperation in exchange for these types of things.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. The problem is I don't have any typical demands, or there's not anything you can offer me at this point. And I realize that now. I realize that there's more to these cases than the people who sit in this room, and we're not the ones who pull all the strings on this. I'm realistic about that. And because of things that have happened over the last couple of months, I just feel like there's a lot of information that I've given out to date that 2020 hindsight I wouldn't have given out, because I feel like now, no matter what I do, it's going to become public anyway. Whereas if I hadn't given it out, it wouldn't have, because you wouldn't have it. The only reason the Courier case has even become an issue is because of me wanting to keep control of that situation before it became a situation. That's why we talked about it in the first place. Those loose ends, whatever you want to call it, that was my concern. As far as long-term, clearly the whole situation is going to turn into longer term than I anticipated. And so my position on it at this point is, you're asking for more information, and I am still waiting to see what happens with the information I've already given. So essentially, what can happen is, it becomes a one-way street until I see what comes out the other end on some of these other issues.
Well, we're also looking at, from what you expressed earlier, the time frame. You all said, are we going to be sitting here a year from now? And this was only got 4 months or 5 months. So we're getting a lot closer, I think, to the year from now, because we've also talked about the way that Vermont initially came out. We were all kind of hadn't fully prepared for what could happen in Vermont, right? You've said it, we've said it. And we've learned things from how we dealt with Vermont that would not necessarily be repeated in other jurisdictions.
I don't want to say breach of trust, because I know we don't trust each other, but based on initial things that were said verbally, nothing in writing. I know we didn't have agreements hard and fast. I just feel like, especially with the last search warrants that were executed, it was done in a way that was clearly contrary to what my initial intentions were for the way this whole thing would play out. And, I hear what you're saying as far as it has to be done, but what I'm doubtful about is the motivation for doing it. Your motivation, or the FBI, whoever sanctioned that, their motivation for doing it in the way that they did it.
He always seems to be hiding something. Throughout the interrogation, he repeatedly insists that he would only reveal information if the media was kept out of it. But why was he so obsessed with secrecy? One possible reason was that he deeply loved his daughter and didn't want her to discover the monster he truly was. Or was there something even darker at play? The answer lies within these repeated statements of his.
That's just my impression. I have nothing to go on other than what I see and my gut feeling on stuff at this point, because I feel like I get the trickle down from all parties involved. So, that may or may not be the case, but that's just where I feel like I'm at right now.
Right, we can't change your feeling, but we've always come into this room trying to give you the straight scoop, and we've tried to deal with you that way, because we know that you're a smart guy and you know how the world works. And what I'm sensing, what you're telling me now is you're trying to look at us as if we've been manipulating you somehow.
No, I don't think anyone in this room has been manipulating. That's not my concern right now. My concern, you're asking for more information. You talked about it going viral. If I give you any more information and it somehow gets out and it gets in the paper again, one more snippet of information could push the whole thing over the edge, and then for the time being, as many times as it's been in the paper and there's still all this speculation, it hasn't really taken off.
And why do you think that is?
Well, I know it's because you haven't been giving official statements that you could, which I do appreciate that aspect of it. What I'm saying is, until I know what's going to happen with certain current issues, my big concern is that another rumor gets out. It doesn't have to come from you, just another rumor from somebody, I don't know. And then, I'm no longer in touch with all the different, I don't even know what's being said in the media or what has been said about the stories. I see little snippets here and there, but that's my concern, is that, if something else were to get out, and especially in a different area or something, then, and now there's the whole Nia Bay aspect of it now too, like my kids live in Nia Bay now, and gossip is the town pastime. So that's my concern right now. Is you guys know about Lake Crescent in Washington?
How deep is it?
I think that lake is 500 to 700 feet deep. They've never been to the bottom of it. There are people who've gone off that lake, and they still haven't found their cars or anything.
And that's the lake.
That's one of the lakes.
So this is really deep. So this ain't never going to be able to recover.
Well, it's
And
over
submarine.
200 feet.
You said 500 feet.
That's
the
the
lake.
deepest part, but I'm saying, I don't know how deep it was. I know the general area, and I had a fish finder, but it didn't register how deep it was. I just know it was over 100
Maxed out
feet.
at 100 feet.
Oh, is that your fish finder goes to 100?
I don't remember. I just know if you've been to the lake, you would see what I'm talking about. It drops down like a V, so depending
But you
on how-
didn't go to the 500 foot place as far as.
No, I wasn't. I was near the edge, but 30 feet out from the bank on that lake, it drops down to 50, 60 feet already, and so anyway.
The lab was talking about a case recently, actually, where they recovered a car that had been submerged in water. And I don't know how deep it was even in, but it was a relatively cold lake, and because it had been submerged and water still got in, but critters and other things weren't able to get in the car, and that was in the 1940s, and part of the body was still intact because the person was protected by the car. So there's a lot of factors that go into it. But there will definitely, even if there wasn't skin or things like that, long bones can be recovered. There's been small bones.
Yeah, I know. They move around.
But if there's other specifics in terms of things that you know of depths and temperatures and that kind of stuff, you can certainly make some phone calls and find out what.
Well, that, I figured you would have guessed that, like, that was pretty obvious. But, I always have been curious as to what it looked like. I would think as deep as that lake is, it's probably sitting there just exactly as it was. It was touched. I know most freshwater lakes that deep, there aren't even that many fish that go down that deep.
But that one's not in anything, it's just ropes or something holding it.
Is that the milk jugs that you said?
Well, that's what the weights were.
Milk jugs, how many milk jugs? Are they gonna move around?
No.
How many milk jugs?
And just when you think you've seen the worst of Israel's twisted behavior, the next clip will push you even closer to the edge.
Could you give me like an hour on the internet, maybe?
Sure.
Before we do this.
You want an hour on the intro?
You do a little research first. I've been an info blackout for too long.
It's needless to say that even the detectives were a bit taken aback by this comment. They were surely having a blackout later, because even after sitting for almost 2 hours, they failed to gain any confession or information about the victims that were yet to be discovered. Israel danced around their questions with disturbing ease, offering riddles instead of answers, smirking when asked for details, and refusing to show a shred of remorse. He was in full control, and he knew it. To make matters worse, investigators suspected Keyes might be linked to other unsolved cases, including the 1996 disappearance of 12-year-old Julie Harris in Washington and the chilling 2006 double murder of Mary Cooper and her daughter, Susanna Stodden. But with no concrete confessions, those cases remained suspended in limbo. Despite their efforts, detectives walked out of that room with more questions than when they walked in, and with each passing day, the pressure to bring justice for Samantha and the unknown victims only grew heavier. That's when the case officially moved towards a trial. The FBI knew that taking Israel Keyes to trial would be complicated. He was cunning, manipulative, and refused to cooperate unless he got exactly what he wanted, the death penalty. He said he didn't want to spend the rest of his life in prison and demanded a quick execution. But the justice system doesn't work that way. While the prosecution was building its case, and the media began to buzz with speculation about the true extent of Israel Keyes' crimes, he was locked away in Anchorage Correctional Complex under tight watch, or so they thought. On December 2012, Israel Keyes was found dead in his jail cell. He had slit his wrist with a razor blade and strangled himself with a bedsheet. A pool of blood surrounded his body. But what disturbed authorities the most wasn't just his chosen method of death. It was what he left behind. Under his body were drawings, 11 crude skulls, each believed to represent an unknown victim. Next to them was a pentagram and a chilling note, a kind of ode to murder filled with cryptic language, references to Satan, and deeply disturbing imagery. It wasn't a confession, it was a taunt. By taking his own life, Israel Keyes took his secrets to the grave, and with that, the full truth of his crimes may never be known. Investigators are still unsure how many victims there really were. Some say 11. Others believe the number could be far higher. What we do know is that Israel Keyes was one of the most terrifying kinds of serial killers, methodical, mobile, and completely detached from empathy. He once said, "A lot of people ask me why I did it, and I don't really have a good answer for that. I'm just different." And he was, in the worst way possible.
I heard it come out of your own mouth, okay?
That ain't what I said.
That's exactly what you said. I could hear it plain as day. There's amplifiers in this room. I heard the whole entire conversation, everything you said.
This is the moment Daniel Groves, who thought he had buried the truth along with his son Dylan, realizes he's been caught in his own trap. What he didn't realize is the fact that detectives were already ahead of him, and they knew he wasn't the only one responsible for the child's tragic fate.
I just talked to him, and he told me that Dylan is dead, and that you guys put him in something and took him up the road off to the right and put him somewhere. He said that you would probably be able to tell us better so we can get him so he's not laying outside, honey.
Detectives knew that Dylan's mother, Jessica Groves, could also have contributed to the crime. It was only a matter of time before the detectives unmasked these evil parents. What follows is a gut-wrenching interrogation of a couple who failed not just as parents, but also in covering their tracks and their sick motive behind the death of their 4-month-old child. It all started on January 10th, 2019, when Jessica Groves arrived at the Southern Ohio Medical Center in active labor while being heavily under the influence of a plethora of drugs. Despite lacking prenatal care, she delivered baby Dylan within 30 minutes. Both mother and child tested positive for methamphetamine, amphetamine, fentanyl, morphine, and other substances, and Dylan soon showed signs of withdrawal. Due to child negligence, Dylan was initially placed in the care of his foster mother, Andrea Tackett, where he remained there for a mere 10 days before being returned to his father, Daniel, under strict conditions, barring Jessica from the home. However, the Groves began evading children's services, and the last confirmed sighting of Dylan alive was on March 28th. After that day, no one saw Dylan again. Nearly a month later, on April 30th, authorities filed a missing persons report, triggering a desperate search that ultimately led to a tense standoff. Jessica was swiftly arrested, while Daniel was taken into custody after a tense standoff. Following this, what the investigators uncovered next was nothing short of horrifying.
Evidently, and correct me if I'm saying something wrong because this information was just given to me. Evidently, they said you're a little boy, and what was his name? Dylan? Maybe, is that sound right? Dylan? He was born in January, and I guess he was born on drugs. Is that correct? Under the influence of drugs. Happens all the time. I'm not here to judge you, okay? Children's Services said that you were supposed to be taking him and going to some kind of parenting classes, and you haven't went and signed up your WIC. You haven't went and renewed his medical card.
We did get WIC.
Okay.
He did have medical card until he was taken away.
Okay. That's what.
And it was all given to CPS.
Okay. Where is he at now?
CPS has him.
Honey, no, they don't have him.
They have both kids.
Okay, what's your other child's name?
Daniel.
Daniel, what's the other one's name?
Dylan.
Dylan. How old's Daniel, sweetheart?
14.
And Dylan is under a year old, I assume. Okay, Children's Services does not have your child. They said that they were reuniting him back with you, and everybody says they have not seen your child since March. Nobody has seen your child since March.
This woman lies to the detectives without hesitation, claiming her kids are with Child Protective Services. Even as the detective repeatedly clarifies that her child isn't in their custody, Jessica remains unfazed, a glaring red flag. At this point, detectives have no information on Dylan's whereabouts. So they turn to Daniel, asking the same question to test their story. But with a well-placed trick, they shatter his defense sooner than he ever expected.
Okay, I'm Detective Conkle. How are you?
All right.
What is your Daniel?
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know. Pick me up on a warrant, they said.
Yeah, you do have a warrant.
What's the warrant for?
I glanced at it. I thought it said receiving stolen property and something. Wasn't nothing major. But here's the deal. I know Adam Giles, one of the other detectives, read your rights when you were out there, so I'm not going to read them to you again. You understand what I say. What's going on with your baby?
CPS has him.
No, they don't, honey.
Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Who was the worker that came and got him then?
Nobody came and got him.
He did.
No.
Yes. I'm telling you, he did.
Children's Services took him Then they gave him back to you.
Right.
And then you started missing your appointments and stuff, and you didn't go. You missed a couple home visits. Then you were supposed to come up there, and you never came up. Okay. Here's the thing, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Okay. I've already talked to Jessica. You know Jessica's over in our jail. Did they tell you that?
I didn't know where she was at.
Okay, she's in jail. Okay. Here's the thing is, we need him back. Okay. And as I told she kind of broke a little bit of it down for me. Here's the thing is, and I'm going to keep it real with you. Accidents happen. I get it. I know, didn't he have a medical condition?
No.
Well, I know the doctor, Christ Pediatrics, called and said he had some kind of genetic something, and he was supposed to come for more testing, and you guys didn't show up. And they told me the name, but I can't remember exactly how to pronounce it. And you guys didn't take him to his doctor's appointment. Why didn't you take him back to his doctor's appointment?
They just said it was probably a false positive is what the doctor told us.
Yeah, but then they called back and told you guys to bring him over there because something came back on a test. I was just reading the notes from the doctor's office.
They told me they was going to call me to schedule, and they never did.
Okay. Jessica said, and like I said, you guys are together. And I get that. You guys have been married for 100 years, it seems like. Because don't you guys have, a 14 or 15-year-old? Mm-hmm. You guys have been together for a long time. Mm-hmm. She said you did something with him. With Dylan. Here's the thing is, it's not going to go away. And as I told her, she said, you're the one that can take him to where he's at. Things happen. And I'll be the first one to tell you, we all make mistakes in our life. Obviously, I've made mistakes. I've got a daughter who's 28 years old. Got pregnant fresh out of high school. It's hard. I don't know how you're raising two. Both of you don't have a clue because it's hard. And that's what I told her. I grew up dirt poor, didn't have nothing. So, I can sympathize. I've never had a drug problem, thank goodness. But, I had a brother that struggled with it. Are you guys still on the dope?
Not really.
Because you guys were doing heroin, she said. She's worried about you, but she was pretty honest with me. And she said, you're the one that can take us to him. Here's the thing is, I don't have a magic wand. And that's what I told her. I said, I can't make it. You are in a little bit of trouble. You already know that. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. A lot of people say they'll promise you that's bull. We're not a judge. We can't promise you. However, I can put a good word in for you. And like I said, accidents do happen, and I get that. But the main thing is you guys have one last chance, and that's why I told her to do right by your son. Do I think you love your kids? Absolutely.
From the very beginning, the detective knew the couple might try to keep their stories straight, so she starts with the facts of the case while speaking to Daniel. As expected, Daniel sticks to the narrative that the kids were with CPS. That's when the detective plays her trick. She turns Daniel against Jessica by making him believe that Jessica has already spilled the beans. This trick would soon pay off, as the detective had discovered something far more alarming during her conversation with Jessica.
He was not given back to me. He was given to his dad.
Okay. Do you know what Dad did with him, sweetheart?
CPS took him back.
They're saying they did not.
And when they took Daniel, and they had no right to take Daniel.
Well, I'm going to check into that for you. Did you see CPS take the child, or is that what Daniel told you?
Yes, they were there. They took him.
When was that?
I don't know.
I'm not trying to upset you. I'm just trying to get to the bottom of this, because this is what's going on right now. Is no one can find the baby. That's what this is over. The baby's missing. And here's the thing, honey, and I'm gonna be straight up with you. If it's something that the dad's done something, whatever, you just need to help yourself at this time. 1, help us find your baby, and 2, help yourself. Okay?
Daniel would never hurt his children, ever.
Honey, I'm not saying he hurt him. I'm just saying, is he hid somewhere? We just need to make sure that he's okay. Okay? I need to be able to confirm that the baby's okay and nothing happened to him, because, yeah, you didn't go to them classes. No, everybody said the last time they seen your baby was
I was
March.
never supposed to go to parenting classes.
Okay, that's what they said. Honey, I don't know. It's all stuff I'm going to check. What did they tell you had to do?
I had to go to Mahajan, which I did, and Mahajan didn't report anything. They didn't turn in nothing here.
Okay. Who did you see up there, honey? Do you remember?
Jessica.
Jessica, okay. And what else did they tell you to do?
And see Greg.
Who's Greg?
Dunham.
Greg Dunham. Did you go see Greg?
I seen him twice, and I haven't had a vehicle. I haven't had a phone. I don't have any means of communication.
Okay. So let me ask you this. Is Dylan okay?
Yes, as far as I know.
Okay. Where do you think he's at?
I don't know. They didn't.
Okay, Children's Services doesn't have him. I'm going to be straight up with you. Children's Services does not have your child. Last time they seen him, they gave him, you are correct, to your husband. They have not seen that child since then. No one has seen that child since that took place.
They seen him after Daniel got him. Yes, they did.
Yeah, but no one's seen him since March, sweetheart. Didn't you guys get him in February?
I don't even remember.
I think it was February. So no one's seen your baby since March. And our biggest concern is, one, that you guys are okay, but we also got to make sure that baby's okay.
Dylan is far from okay. He's seen a fate that, once revealed, will disturb even the most seasoned detectives. But at this point, what truly alarms detectives is Jessica's behavior. She shows little to no concern over the fact that CPS doesn't have the baby. This disturbing lack of urgency is all they need to suspect that the worst may have already happened. Even so, the detective gives Jessica the benefit of the doubt, suggesting Daniel might be responsible. When she denies it, the detective doesn't push, and instead, she leans into a minimization tactic, implying they believe Jessica is innocent. The hope is she'll turn on Daniel to save herself, but Jessica doesn't bite, forcing the detective to pivot to a sharper tactic, one that would finally crack her, leading to a confession that confirms the detective's worst fears.
It happens. I get it. But I can tell you, no matter how bad it is, I'm going to have respect for you, and the judge is going to have respect for you because you did the right thing. You didn't leave him laying out there wherever he is. You did the right thing. And I tell you what, I had a girl, and I remember telling you, it's probably been a couple years ago, and something happened with her little boy, and she did the right thing, and she turned out okay. But like I said, you know, we already know. Okay, I already know.
Already what?
We just want him back. He doesn't do wherever he's at, wherever he's laying or wherever, let's get him back. What happened, honey?
I don't know. I don't know what happened.
You just find him like that? I mean, honey, make me understand. I'll help you the best I can, but, you know, you got to help yourself. One, you know, don't, and I'm just telling you from a mom, and I know you're a good dad because you were doing everything right there for a little bit. Don't leave him laying out wherever he's at. He doesn't deserve that, and you don't deserve that. And Jessica even said that. She said that you would do the right thing. That's what she told me.
What's she in jail for?
She's in jail for complicity to kidnapping and interference with custody.
What's she in this kidnapping for?
Because right now, the fact that you didn't bring him back to Children's Services when you're supposed to, it makes you both the same thing, interference with custody and kidnapping. Because your child, and like I said, that could change, especially if, you know, he's deceased and something happened. I can't put words in your mouth what happened. I mean, I already know. And like I said, and just like I told her, he don't deserve to be laying out there. And dear God, he looks just like you now that I see you. Things happen, but this is your chance to make right by it. This little baby don't deserve that, and you know that. We can get through anything. And like I said, you know, yeah, you're in a little bit of trouble, but I tell you, everybody's going to look up to you and have respect that you did the right thing. You know what? It takes a man. And that's like I told Jessica the same thing. It takes a real person, a man, to stand up and say, yeah, I made a mistake. Let's make right by it. I have more respect than for people. I've had people that's came in here, killed 2 or 3 people, adults, and told me the truth and explained it to me. And I have more respect for them than a coward that chooses not to. You know what I'm saying?
Nobody killed him.
Well, what happened, honey?
He just died.
What did he die of? Tell me how'd this happen? Tell me.
He just found him. He was gone.
Okay. Purple?
Yeah.
Okay. Where'd you put him, sweetheart? Let's get him where he needs to be.
That's the impact of a moral minimization tactic on a suspect who has resisted a confession for far too long. The detective knows exactly what to say, and this time, it works. Daniel finally confesses. He admits that Dylan was already dead when he found him, the tiny body already turned purple. It's a chilling admission from a father who'd spent days weaving lies to mislead the investigators. But even with this confession, the story is far from over. What comes next will force Ohio detectives to question not just the case, but the very boundaries of human morality.
Okay. As you can see, I was telling you the truth. They did have him. And I just talked to him, and he told me that Dylan is dead and that you guys put him in something and took him up the road off to the right and put him somewhere. He said that you would probably be able to tell us better so we can get him so he's not laying outside, honey. Don't leave your baby laying out there another night. What happened, sweetheart?
I done told you what I know.
Okay, you didn't tell me the truth. You told me something from Children's Services. He's already told me the truth. Your husband's already told me. The lying's got to stop now. If you want me on your side, trying to help sort this mess out, you got to be honest. Because obviously your husband just was. How long has he been dead?
In 2019 alone, Ohio reported 101 child deaths where abuse or neglect played a direct role. These weren't just statistics, they were innocent lives lost to cruelty, silence, and failure. And now, Jessica, who has a documented history of substance abuse, sits in the interrogation room saying nothing as the detective confronts her about the death of her own child and the condition of his remains. Detectives were yet to find if this mother was just a witness or the reason baby Dylan never stood a chance. But to get Jessica to talk, they need to break Daniel's defense first. What comes next is exactly what the detectives wanted to happen.
Did he die out there at your trailer?
Yep.
Okay. Who all was there, just you two?
Yep.
Okay. How long ago was that, sweetheart? How long after you got him back?
Couple months.
Okay. Can you show me where he's at?
Can you show you?
What is it, sweetheart?
What do you mean show you?
We want to get his remains back. What did you guys do with him?
Let me talk to my wife.
What is it?
Let me talk to my wife.
Honey, I'm going to here in just a minute. You want something to drink or something while you wait? Is he out there by your house?
No, not by my house.
What's he close to, honey?
It's close to our house.
Tell me where he's at while they're out there, and I'll have them get him while they're out there.
I can't explain it.
But can you show me?
Let me show you. I'll show you.
Did you bury him?
Not really.
What is he in?
Let me talk to my wife.
Let me see if they're done with counting. Give me just a second, okay?
As Daniel begins to open up, detectives are faced with some deeply disturbing details about baby Dylan. He appears drained, like battling withdrawal, but what stands out more is the weight of shame and guilt hanging over him. The question is, what's behind that guilt? Detectives need to find out if it is the unbearable truth of what happened to his child, or is it the fear that telling the truth could destroy both his and Jessica's future?
Remember I told you about it's a time when it's over, it's over. You need to step up and do the right thing. Do what's right for that baby.
I have the right to remain silent.
Well, honey, that's your choice. If that's what you want to do, you can. So you don't want to try to help find him tonight? I assume that's a no? Because we're getting ready to take him out there. So I assume you're done? Do you want to go back, Jessica?
Yep.
Okay. Give me just a second. I'm going to find out what room is going on.
Jessica's silence played against her as detectives were already aware of Dylan's death and the fact that the couple tried to hide it from the system. What makes this even more heartbreaking is that they didn't even give baby Dylan a proper burial. This makes her, as a mother, not just cold, but ruthless on so many levels. But still, without a direct confession, detectives were now ready to lay down their final card.
I told her, you come on in, that the reason that we're doing this is because you've cooperated and done everything you're supposed to. She can have drinks. Just no touching, kissing, making out, because I'm doing this as a favor, okay?
Thank you.
She can have some of your drinks or whatever,
No.
but just don't, no making out, kissing, hugging, okay? Does that seem fair enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm not so fucking worried about you. I've been on her ass for 2 days to see you. But I've been riding him like a mother. And I've been pissed. I got pissed at fucking Jade. I told her because she told me last 2 days I was going to get to see you. And I didn't.
I asked and they told me there was absolutely no way that I could see you at all. That men and women were not allowed to see each other, period.
Well, Jamie told me, Jade promised me the first fucking day that night they brought me in here. I was going to get to see you. And she told me I could see you in the morning. Well, and then in the morning, then they took me out to the house and had me out there all day. And then we got back, she was supposed to, you know.
What'd they have you out to the house for?
Whatever.
I've been so worried about the dogs. I've tried to call Linda. I couldn't even get a spoon until today.
Hell, they ain't even took it. They still got me. They've been holding me up and holding the whole time. I ain't even been up back on the range. I've been up in the holding cell where the lights are on all the time. That's another thing I want to talk to Jody about now, because they supposed to put me back here last night and they wouldn't do it.
What are they charging you with?
Kidnapping, abduction, and like I don't know, another misdemeanor.
You had court this morning?
Video court.
I had video court yesterday morning. My bond's $100,000.
Kidnapping. Then what?
And
What else do you got?
kidnapping, abduction, and
Same 3 things I got.
and something fooling with custody,
Yeah.
something misdemeanor 4, felony 4, and a felony 1.
I think my abduction is felony 3. For some reason.
Maybe it is a felony 3.
As Jessica is brought in, the couple quietly begins discussing their situation. She shows a clear emotional attachment to her dog, something that only deepens the unsettling question: where was this concern when it came to Dylan? This doesn't go unnoticed, and what they don't realize is that the detectives are setting a trap, and this seemingly casual conversation is about to hand the investigators exactly what they need to escalate the charges to something far more serious. In what will come next, Daniel is about to single-handedly dig his own grave.
They told me that you said he was dead. They told me you were from me. They told me that you said he was dead. Wow. They told me that he was dead. I told him as the first time you see me, yes, get back into me. And they told me that he was dead. He said, they knew better than I lying. So I told him, I said, well, I'm going to have the right to remain silent. They told me that you told me he was dead. They told you don't think that. They you don't do everything. They
What were you having? W pod?
B.
B pod?
I'm in a cell by myself.
She told me that she thought he was on W pod.
They told me that our faces were going to be all over the news
Who told you that?
and that I was going to be the most hated woman
Who told you that?
in here, so they put me in a cell by myself to keep me safe.
Who told you that?
Jody. She said that your face, my face, and Dylan's face would be all over the news. That we were wanted for kidnapping and abduction, and they were looking for our little boy. And that we would be the most wanted people in Scioto County. So they were putting me somewhere safe so that the other women wouldn't, because I was going to be the most hated woman in this place.
They took me up there yesterday while we did before we was there. And I took them some Chipotle place. There's a place that were down so they find for some reason. I don't know where he's at. I don't think that's things you try to talk to me. They said that you told me that I would know where he was that morning.
You get eaten?
Nope.
Why not?
How I had anything to eat with?
Why didn't they give you a spoon? They took you back here.
They didn't give me anything. They haven't given me toilet paper. The only toilet paper I had, because when I was in holding, I was about to freeze to freaking death. I was freezing to death. And there was a roll of toilet paper, and there were dirty blankets laying. There was a cup that was somebody else's, and there was toilet paper laying everywhere, and there was a roll of toilet paper. So I took the first few layers off and wrapped my feet. Because I was freezing to death, I made me some socks.
Hell, I did.
So I have a little bit of toilet paper up there that I wrapped my feet with.
Oh, yeah. Well, I had the only thing I had in there was 2 blankets that was already in there too, until 1 o'clock this morning. I finally gotta go take a shower and get clean blankets.
I haven't even got to take a shower or nothing.
Because I fucking raged like a head off. Fucking with himself.
Well,
They don't like me up there. I said, I don't care if you don't like me. I said, this is fucking bullshit. I said, you didn't put me in here dirty blanket. They ain't even let me have a shower. And this dude on midnight, he's the only one been cool with me. He's been real nice with me. He let me take a shower that night and let me get clean blankets.
well, there was one guy, because I asked all day yesterday. I want to make a phone call. To call Linda.
So you called Linda?
I called Linda this morning because I asked all day yesterday, all day. No. And I figured probably because she was at work, so I was waiting till like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Can you leave her a message?
To call her. No, it won't let me. I only get 2 phone calls.
You were using them?
And I used 1.
I ain't never used the other one. Well, I was going to tell you, you need to get over to Linda or get over to Phyllis and leave a message and tell them to go in there, to take Daniel in there and go to Humane Society and get Chip and Bella.
Is that where Chip and Bella's at?
They took both of us. Took them all here, so I was there. And the guy wouldn't let me. And the main guy come out there and he said I could let you take the 2 dogs or try to go take them to the people right now. He said, but the problem is you don't have tags for these dogs. He said, that's 7 counts against you right now. He said, you can be charged with 7 counts right now. He said, I don't know if they will charge you, but he said, but they can't. He said, but if you got a credit card or something, he said, I can get online right here and I can buy tags for them 2 house dogs and then we can try to take them to where you want them to be. He said, but if not, I have to take them all with me. He said that they need to get them within a couple of days.
Well, because I went out. They told me to walk backwards. A guy asked me where you was at. I told him I didn't know. That as far as I knew, you wasn't home because I was in bed asleep. He called me a and threatened to split my wig. And I hollered at him. I said, go ahead, do it. Do it. Go ahead, do it. And he said, I would, you but I have a badge. I said, I don't care, do it.
I said, I should just.
So then they took me up and put me in Greg's car and threatened to take, he said, take her to jail. Get her for aiding and abetting a fugitive. I said, how is he a fugitive? I said, he called his lawyer the day that he was supposed to have court and told her that he could not make it. I don't know why he has a warrant. They wouldn't tell me anything. They didn't have any charges on me, but they were going to get me for aiding and abetting a fugitive because I wouldn't tell them where you were at. I told him, I said, I was in bed. If he came home, I don't know where he's at. And they said, you know he's in there hiding. And they tried to tell me there was 2 males in the house. And I told them, no, there wasn't. I asked him, please, I asked Greg, I said, please take me in the house and let me at least put a bra on and get me some socks and shoes. He said, I ain't going in that house so Daniel can come out shooting at me. I said, Daniel is not a violent person. I said, there is not a violent bone in his body. He would not hurt anybody. He's like, I don't know, there ain't guns in the house. I said, there ain't no guns in the house but a BB gun. And I said, and if Daniel's in there, he's hiding and I don't know where he's at because I was asleep. And he said, you mean you didn't get up and tell him to hide or something because he was in bed with you? I said, no, he didn't. Well, where was he at? I said, I don't know. I said, I was in bed asleep. Well, yeah, right. It took you long enough to come out. I said, I had to put clothes on. I said, I reckon I should have just come out in a pair of panties, shouldn't I? He's like, oh, no, we don't want to see that.
They took that out of my underwear. They brought me in here in my underwear. So they had. Because now, they fucking left. Because the actor fucking wanted. No fucking noise.
Did they gas the place?
And I looked out. Didn't see cars. I mean, I didn't look out hard, but I just looked out. It went by the window. Didn't see no cars. I thought they left. So I just, I laid down in bed and thought I was going to lay down here and chill for a while. So I took my clothes off. I laid down there in bed where I fell asleep. I mean, I literally did fall asleep. And then I at 9 o'clock, it was 9 o'clock, and in fact, that fucking robot.
Well,
But went down the bedroom.
they told, what bedroom?
Or bedroom.
They told me that they were, because I wouldn't give you up, that they were calling in a SWAT team and that they were going to throw in gas and something else, explosive things, to make the place inhabitable where it couldn't be lived in, and that they were going to tear that place apart.
And if what you're telling me is correct about how your baby died, you'd have no reason to be doing this.
I'm telling you the truth.
No, you lied. You lied to me.
The truth that Daniel and Jessica tried so desperately to bury didn't unravel through any form of complex investigation. It simply crumbled under the weight of their own carelessness. In the end, it was their careless words, their inconsistencies, and their lack of remorse that exposed them. Ironically, the same thoughtless neglect that cost Dylan his life is what ultimately led to the truth.
At some point while you're on the phone with your sister and walking around the woods, did you find something?
Yes, I stepped over a log and found the remains.
And specifically, when you said remains, what did you see?
Specifically, I found a human skull.
The community was paralyzed with fear when 22-year-old police officer Miles Bryant, entrusted with their safety, was accused of murdering 16-year-old Susana Morales. Her remains were discovered over 20 miles from Norcross in a forested area on February 6, 2023.
Now, he signaled you, and when you walked over there, what did you first observe?
There was a Glock 19 handgun underneath some pine straw.
Miles Bryant's firearm was discovered near the site, linking him to the case. After his arrest on February 13, 2023, several women came forward, accusing Miles of stalking and breaking into their homes.
I was shocked. I felt like it could have been me because he was the person at my door coming and unscrewing my knob and kicking it down and stuff like that.
This screen grab of a man in military fatigues from October shows the first time Bates says a neighbor's camera recorded him at her door. She says 2 other videos from December show him back there again, covering his face and pulling on the door handle, then again knocking.
The community was left in shock after a police officer, once seen as a protector, was charged with a horrific crime that forever changed the life of the suspect. Susana Morales had a magical voice and was a self-taught guitarist and ukulele player. Born on June 24, 2006, she lived happily with her mother, Maria Bran, her stepfather, Leo, her two older sisters, Jasmine and Jaleesa, and her stepbrother. However, those happy days were not to last. Overcome with grief after losing her daughter, Susana's mother, Maria, struggled to find words for her pain.
As a parent, there's nothing more terrifying than having your child go missing. But as a mother, a woman who has carried and birthed that child into this world, that is a pain beyond expression. And the devastation that follows the discovery that your missing child was murdered is unspeakable. For all the parents in this audience, pause right now and imagine the worst. Your baby goes missing for a day, 7 days, 14 days, a month, 2 months, 7 months, and then one day, police contact you asking for a DNA sample, and your child turns up in literal pieces.
Axel Zaragoza, Susana Morales' boyfriend, gave his testimony in court.
Did you love her?
Yeah.
How would you describe Susana?
She was really uplifting. She was nice to everybody. She was a really loving person.
Did y'all have a good relationship?
Yeah, we did.
July 26th, 2022, the day that Susana was taken, did you talk to her that day?
Yes, I did.
Kind of tell the jury about that day and your conversations with Susana.
She called me over the phone before she left to Kelly's house. And also, right before she left her house, she also called me saying that she was going to go out with friends to go smoke. And she'll call me when she get home.
On July 26th at approximately 6 p.m., we know that Susana Morales left her home on Santa Ana Drive in Norcross and walked a short distance to the Sterling Glen apartment complex on Indian Trail Road. There, she met with her friend for about 4 hours, and at about 10 o'clock, she began her trek back to her house. We know that between 10 and 10:30 p.m., Susana had an interaction with an individual and ultimately was not seen or heard from again.
This surveillance video captures the last moments 16-year-old Susana Morales was seen July 26th. She was walking home near Singleton Road and Indian Trail Lilburn Road after visiting a friend.
Something happened in between the place that we got the camera footage from and our neighborhood, and that's like a minute apart. So something happened in that little minute, and we just haven't been able to figure out what happened.
Jasmine defended her sister when the police suggested Susana might have fled home.
So we know that she's not out there because she wants to be. She will never do that. I mean, it's been over a month. It would have been like, so she would have contacted like her boyfriend, my mom, me, or at least. It's frustration of not knowing where she is, not knowing anything, you know? Like, all I ask sometimes is just, I just want to know where she's at so I can get her.
Susana's friends testified about the night she mentioned she was heading home from a friend's house.
So where is the ring on the 360 app showing that she is?
In the neighborhood right there, the Oak Lock Trace.
Do you know that neighborhood?
No, I have a friend who lives there, but I'm not very familiar with it.
That friend that lives there, was that a friend of Susana that she would go to?
No.
Did you know any reason why Susana would be at that location that night?
No.
And we see her, it says near Oak Lock Trace on the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
What? And then it says since 10:30 p.m. yesterday. Tell us what those mean.
It says that her location has been there since 10:30 p.m. So like she hasn't moved since then from that area.
Okay. Again, you took this screenshot, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us what we're looking at here.
That shows her driving from the front of her neighborhood.
Did Susanna have a car?
No, Susanna did not have a car.
Did she drive?
No.
Okay. Do you know at 10:21 p.m. Who she would be driving with?
No, I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's okay. And we see that location that says Steve Reynolds Boulevard at the end. Can you explain to us from the white dot to the black dot up top what that means?
It means that she started at where the white dot is, the Steve Reynolds Boulevard. She started there, and then she ended where that black dot is. That's where the trip ended.
Susanna's loved ones received Life 360 alerts about a potential car crash, followed by a sudden high-speed change in direction. After that, she was never heard from again.
This case was immediately assigned to our Criminal Investigations Division, who worked diligently on this case and followed up on a number of leads and tips. However, those leads and tips did not come to fruition. We know that on February the 6th, a citizen who was walking in the area of Drowning Creek Road and Highway 316 happened upon skeletal remains. The Gwinnett County Police Department sealed that crime scene, the Gwinnett County Medical Examiner took custody of those remains, and they were positively identified as having belonged to Susanna Morales. The following morning, February 7th, we brought out a large contingency of police personnel and conducted a methodical and meticulous search known as a grid search. And during that search, we located a firearm that had been reported stolen on July 27th. This is the same day that Susanna was reported missing. That firearm we traced back to a 22-year-old former Dorville police officer named Miles Bryant. Bryant then became a person of interest in our case. We continue investigating, and on February 13th, we secured warrants for concealing the death of another.
Miles Bryant was promptly called in for questioning.
I just play basketball, sorry. Nah, you're good, man. We've been all over this complex.
Oh, man, you Dorville?
Yeah.
How long you been with them?
2.5 years now.
You like it?
Yeah. So, yeah, when she first was missing, I was talking to the neighborhood team, stuff like that. They didn't really know anything. I don't really get to the school much and watching the news, and my girl used to stay here, literally just moved out, and pretty much it.
Yeah. Nothing. What are those neighborhood kids saying?
I haven't talked to them in a minute, but when she first was missing, it was like they was just with her, and they was joining on each other, some crazy.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything actually. Like me and my girl was talking about it, stuff like that. It was like it's just weird. They said she was walking home, and then she just, you know.
And that's what we're just out here asking questions and stuff. Like how many calls do you get like being courteous? None of us are courteous.
No, I would get maybe like. It depends. Like I get stupid calls like noise complaints.
Yeah.
Noise complaints, and
do you have to come out and handle those, or?
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes I come out. Sometimes I try to get West Side guys.
Yeah.
Come out, stuff like that. Sometimes I ride around a patrol.
Yeah. You do a lot more than some. I worked down in the South Precinct where I started, down in like Stone Mountain, and man, there was one courteous officer. He wouldn't do a thing. Like he was calling us for every little thing, man. It was ridiculous. All right, so we just got some questions. We got to run over some stuff. It seems like you're courtesy here, so you know kind of things what's going on.
Well versed in what's happening in the complex.
So you got some time for us to come up to our headquarters and just talk about what you see on a daily basis and stuff like that.
Yeah. Can that be today?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now? No. I'm actually finna head out.
Where are you going?
I have to go meet my girlfriend and I have to work later.
Okay.
Will I be out by time work? Or?
What time?
4.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, like I said, we just got some questions that courtesy officer between you and the leasing office. You guys probably get calls all the day, and we're literally talking to everyone here. So we're just trying to document we got no lease, man. We're just trying to document everything. That's all we are.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta come and talk. Can I drive there?
We'll drive you, man.
Yeah, we'll take you up there.
Yeah, you don't gotta waste your gas or anything and all that stuff.
Can I drive?
County gas, man.
Can I call my girlfriend and fill it in? We'll call her once we get up there, okay? Right now, we'll just go up there. You got any guns or anything on you right now? No, I don't. You don't? Okay, can I pat you down just to make sure? What's going on, man? You're good. It's our policy, man. We just, I know how this road. All right.
Yeah, you know how it is. You know that we don't want to get our balls busted with the GDM and everything.
All right. You can get up front seat, all right, man?
In this particular instance, when you picked up the defendant, did you observe any manifestations that you just described that you might term, as a detective with the experience, signs of nervousness?
Yes, sir.
And would you explain what those were?
So almost immediately when we began talking to Mr. Bryant, his hands were almost uncontrollably shaking. His breathing was elevated, and you can see his chest rising and falling. And then while we were in the car on the way, while we were continuously having a dialogue, he kind of leaned his head up against the side of the car and attempted or tried to take a nap.
The investigation is still ongoing, and if there's further charges in the future, those will be known. As of right now, it's still early in.
So you said you worked at Forsyth?
Yes.
Wait, how long did you work at Forsyth?
Maybe a year.
Okay. You go to school or anything? Like college?
I thought about it, but I want to get working, so.
Okay. So what do you want to do?
Me?
Police department?
I want to get like a crime suppression team, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And
like lead it?
Yeah.
Nice.
It probably goes, not lead it, and then probably goes like CID.
Okay.
Detective.
What kind of CID stuff you want to do?
We just have general CID. I don't know. I know it's not breaking up stuff like that.
City agencies.
Yeah. I want to do like maybe burglary. For like that. I hate people who steal.
Yeah.
I like these.
Okay. So I know that your gun was stolen. Do you know if it was located or anything yet?
No, I haven't heard anything.
I haven't run it yet. We probably need to check that, see if it's still. But they would have called you.
I can't find my wallet. My holster's there. My gun and holster is never separate. We the people conceal holster. If I take the holster. I don't carry it free. So that's definitely missing. You want me to get a serial number for you real quick? If you don't mind. Yeah. Sorry about that. And if you run my tag, I'm the registered owner. I don't have my wallet, so I have my ID on.
No, that's fine. Do you think your wallet was in the truck as well, or?
I think so, because I didn't. The pants I had on yesterday, I took it in the house, looked through all the grocery bags. They only went in the house, and I came out here and I ran around the neighborhood. I'm the courtesy officer. And then last night, when my girl got back from, we did something. We came back. I drove around a little bit, and I needed to do patrol anyway. I drove around a little bit, see if I could find it. I didn't see it. It was dark in a little bit.
Okay. Anyway, I'll list in the truck just to say it's on our report.
Yeah. I don't really care about the detective stuff like that. I just want to get on GCIC at least. Some person get caught on the side of the road with it.
No, I got you.
Yeah.
Did in your call with Mr. Bryant, he make any statements about how he wanted you to handle or investigate the report?
He stated that he just wanted the gun listed as stolen and that he didn't really want detectives looking into it.
Based on your training and experience with Gwinnett County Police Department, what were your thoughts when you heard that? Is that normal?
I found it a little odd that we had a serial number for specific property that could be returned to him, but he didn't want any follow-up done with this case.
Did you know her at all, Morales? Nothing? Never saw her playing basketball or anything with the other kids?
Never. I didn't recognize her at all. That is crazy.
However, Alyssa Marvin had a different perspective to share.
Had you ever had any personal interactions with the defendant before Susanna disappeared?
Yes.
And can you tell us what those are?
So there was one time, there was multiple times he would drive by and, he'll say hello and everything to everyone. And there was one time we were at the pool and it was me and Kelly. Susanna came after, towards the end before we left, but we were there at the pool and he came with his backpack and he had, a drink with him and he had little shot cups and he had edibles and stuff, and he asked how old I was, and then when I told him my age, he still wanted to talk to me but didn't talk to me because of my age. So he knew not to drink with me, but he wanted to drink with me before he knew my age, but he still offered the edibles. But then that was the interaction I had with him that night. And before we left, I believe it was the same day, We wanted to order pizza because, it's a hot day outside. Someone wants to eat. We wanted to eat and we was going to order pizza. He offered us to give us a ride to get pizza, but we said no because we're underage, you're grown, so we said no to that. We ordered pizza. We went home about our day. That was the one, I could say face-to-face interaction, full conversation.
Since that time, our criminal investigators have been working this case continuously, and we have reached a threshold to where these charges have now been upgraded to felony murder and kidnapping charges.
Miles.
Yes.
This is where we're at, okay? And I'm gonna be completely honest with you. Your phone records are there. You made 2 phone calls 3 hours after she's last seen on camera. And your gun is found right there as well with your phone, where those 2 phone calls are placed. Help me out.
So I understand where this is coming from.
No, I'm saying, I know you do, just help me out a little bit.
Yeah. No, I don't know what you're thinking, but no.
What would you think?
You think I have something to do with
No, I said, what would you think?
Oh, no, I get that part, but now my heart's beating, it's like, whoa, I get that. That's almost like, hey, stuff like that, but no, I never been like that, I would never do something like that. I was actually on the phone with her, 2 phones, her and my side chick, like that, and I'm talking to them about stuff, that's it.
What's your side chick's name?
Avion.
Avion, that's the one that lives?
Austell area.
You getting chased around by your girlfriend and then calling your side chick to decompress?
Yeah, and then I talked to my girlfriend and we ended up meeting and stuff like that.
So, the phone records put you literally right there. And it's not your personal phone. You call her on your work phone.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
I think my personal phone was dead.
Okay.
But I have both their numbers, I just need to calm down.
It shows you in the woods.
In the woods? I've never left my show. I don't think I was in the woods.
Cell phone data placed Miles near the location of Susanna's remains on the night she disappeared. Records also indicated that his phone returned to the area later that morning, about an hour before he reported his firearm stolen.
My DNA, whatever.
We've done that. Soldier to soldier, cop to cop.
Yeah.
I told you I've looked into Susanna.
Yeah.
I know what kind of friends she had. I know what she did, and I know how she was. Basically, we know you were there, but we need to figure out why and what happened. I don't think you're a bad guy. I don't. You weren't brought up here in handcuffs or anything.
Yeah, no.
So, and I have your back. That's what I'm saying. You're like family. You know what I'm saying? We're all family here. I gotta figure out what happened.
Yeah.
Because there's no arguing. If you were there, if you weren't, we know you were.
Right.
So we have to, I know that it was more than you were talking to your girlfriend. There was movement around there, so that's what we have to cover right now, okay? Tell me what happened, please.
I don't know. I literally was with my girlfriend, on the phone with my girlfriend, and that's it.
During testimony, Miles's ex-girlfriend, Avion Smyer, contradicted his story of that night and pointed out suspicious scratches on his truck.
In this case, I called the cause of death undetermined due to decomposition with skeletonization. I believe if I had had the intact body, I could have come up with a specific cause of death, but I'm limited based on what I have. The body is too decomposed. All I have is a skeleton. Because the circumstances, again, young female, this isolated area where it's far removed from where she was last known to be alive, and no personal effects, no clothing. As a medical examiner with 30 years of experience, if I were to see an intact individual at this type of a scene, first thing I'm going to think of is some type of homicidal violence, specifically some type of asphyxial type component, strangulation, suffocation, chest compression, things of that nature. Because if you have a nude individual, nude or partially nude, that better be, as a medical examiner, that better be one of the first things you're thinking about.
Though an autopsy couldn't be performed to prove sexual assault, Miles's actions were sexually motivated. Detective Angela Carter testified about her findings from Miles's search history.
I found photographs of him looking at the media coverage of Susanna that had the pictures attached to them.
All right, now 396, what are we looking for here?
How are you ID by dental records?
And when did this search occur?
February 9th, 2023 at 4:04 a.m. UTC time, which would be February 8th, 2023 at 11:04 p.m.
All right. How long after the defendant searched for the camera footage from the Georgia Department of Transportation, and I'll try to put them both on the screen here, did he search for how was somebody identified by dental records?
A little over 10 minutes later.
And then lastly, it says record number 404. What is that search?
Gwinnett County teen found.
Michael Jones, a fellow inmate of Miles in prison, also testified against him.
Okay, and what conversation did you have with him about some of the details of what was contained in the discovery?
After a few days, after he read it, looked over it, he come back out and he said, "Well, I don't think I'm not gonna get charged for this. They ain't got nothing against me. There's no. It says right here plain. He says it says right here plain. There's no blood, no semen, no nothing. They can't. They ain't got nothing against me."
A former classmate, Alicia Bates, provided testimony that shed light on Miles's character.
I've known him since 5th grade. We grew up together.
She believes that Miles broke into her home.
Well, my neighbor told me that she saw Miles come into our community and listening to my door when I wasn't home and just trying to see if I was home, messing with my doorknob and stuff. She told me, and when she showed me the video of him, it was all alarming.
Then did you go out and get a firearm because of him?
Yes.
She stated that Miles became so aggressive that she feared for her life and reported him to his employer, the Doraville Police Department.
I don't think they took the matter serious because he was a cop. However, I do feel like if they did, Susanna could still be alive.
She claims this stalking occurred both before and after 16-year-old Susanna Morales went missing in July.
He was capable of it. When the officers asked me why he was trying to break into my apartment, I told them that I was scared that he was trying to break me.
Alicia Bates now believes her childhood friend, former Doraville police officer Miles Bryant, stalked her at her Snellville apartment last year. She believes this Ring video her neighbor gave her is Bryant, as he lurked around her door, trying her knob, wearing a hood on his head. She says he even broke in one time when she was not home.
Okay, Ms. Bates, we were talking about the last time on December 12th, 2022, the day after you had called police, and you said you saw him by your dumpster trash area in your complex.
Yes, ma'am. I saw him. I was walking to my car. I felt like somebody was watching me. It was pretty late, so I was alert. It's pretty dark.
Did you see a vehicle?
I did. I saw a F-150 parked by the dumpsters with a dark-skinned male standing outside with glasses on.
Okay, and what did you do when you saw that F-150 in the mail?
I hurried up and got in my car and locked the doors and called my boyfriend, or my ex-boyfriend.
And did you leave your complex that night then?
I did.
Did you, after then, that was in December of 2022, did you ever initiate any more contact with Mr. Bryant?
No, ma'am.
Did you hear from him any other time?
No, he kept texting me, but I never responded.
And again, since knowing him from 5th grade to today, did you guys ever go on a date?
Never.
Did you ever sleep together?
Never.
Did you ever express any interest in him?
Never.
Would she have gone there while y'all were talking, while you were driving around?
I don't know where she went. I think she was driving around too.
Miles, I'm getting frustrated because I feel like you think I'm lying to you.
No, I believe. Really.
Because maybe I am wrong about you. Maybe I'm wrong. You also tried to get into a girl's apartment off Annistown. You didn't? Oh, your phone was just casually there too?
No, they had a whole investigation about that. I was there, but I didn't try to break in her apartment. She lied.
So what was you trying to do?
I was talking to her. Like we was free. Like
You didn't try to open her door?
Me and my sergeant.
You didn't answer my question. You didn't try to open her door?
Yes.
Okay, I know. Why was you hiding your head?
It was raining.
Oh, it was raining. Where was your PC? You was wearing a gray jacket.
Yeah, because
that was a violation of 6.
You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Because you didn't want anyone to see your hat because it has your name on the back of your head. Okay?
No, I didn't have a PC on, I swear.
I know, exactly. Yeah. Because you didn't want people to see your name.
No.
Yes.
She knew exactly where I was. She knew where I was.
She didn't want you there.
She didn't ever tell me that. She never told me that.
Did she invite you over?
No.
You didn't. So you just show up to this girl's apartment and try to break in. That's how it looks, right?
Yeah.
So casually, you're just the victim in all this. You're just casually being in all these like victim situations where you're just casually in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what you're telling me.
No, my sergeant did a whole investigation.
Miles, you gotta just take a minute, take a breath.
I am.
You gotta stop.
Put me as a suspect in this.
It's okay. Take a breath. Take a deep breath. We need your help. We want to give this family closure.
I understand that.
Your gun's there. Your phone puts you in the woods. What can we give this family?
You're not a bad person, Miles. This is not just an effect on you, this is an effect on all officers everywhere.
I know, I'm not, it's not me. It's not me.
If you were me, what would you do?
I understand it, I don't know.
Tell me, what would you do? Tell me.
Investigate some more stuff like that, I don't know.
Like what?
I know you did your thing, you did your due diligence. It's not, nothing to do with that part. You can ask my girlfriend, nobody was with me. When she was with me, even before all that nobody was with me.
How do you explain your truck being parked in front of Susanna's house a month after she went missing?
What you mean?
So do you guys use Vigilant? You know what Vigilant is?
Mm-hmm.
So it compiles, you got LPR cars?
Yeah.
So it takes every LPR car, and it takes all the LPR cars from like the repo people,
mm-hmm.
and it puts it into Vigilant, and we can research that.
Mm-hmm.
So doing our due diligence, your truck is sitting outside Susanna's house.
Where does she live? I sit outside her house. Where does she live? Can you show me my truck?
Yep, sure can. No, I can't. It's dead. Pretty sure I took a picture of it though.
Like just sitting there?
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know where she lives. God.
It's not a question about if it's you or not, because we already know that.
No.
But listen, it's a question about what happened, okay?
Sitting there.
It's a question about if you are a cold-blooded killer or if you made a mistake.
All we ever wanted was justice for what happened to her. I mean, nothing will ever bring her back. And to this day, I still hope that I'll see her again.
I just hope that after today, you and your family can find some peace. That is what I wish for you. Hopefully, you will receive some peace now.
The world was stunned when a police officer sworn to serve and protect was found guilty of a horrific crime involving Susanna, raising several questions.
Step on my property. When I step on my property,
What was your point when you stabbed him? To defend myself on my own property. And if he's on my property, he doesn't have the right to be on my property. Does he?
This is 51-year-old Brian Harry Chelberg. In a heated parking dispute, he stabbed 26-year-old Arnell Jermel Stewart, and shockingly, he walked away without serving a single day in prison. The evidence is clear. The police have everything in place, and just when justice seems certain, Brian manages to get away. The question is, how?
Could you have just let him I could have. Away? I probably could have. But how many times?
On December 2nd, 2021, East Lawson Avenue erupted into chaos. AJ stepped out of his SUV and Brian confronted him near the curb. Words were exchanged and a heated argument ensued. AJ swung a punch, Brian retaliated, and the confrontation quickly escalated. Metal flashed in Brian's hand and a steel pipe swung with lethal force. AJ stumbled, tried to defend himself, but the pipe struck, piercing his chest. Detectives later traced Brian's movements and brought him in for an interrogation. Meanwhile, AJ fought for his life in the hospital.
From the beginning here, you live at 1727th Street, right?
An old fire station.
At the old fire station?
Yep. Bought it about 7 years ago.
Is it a whole house?
Yeah. I live there.
I mean, it's not like multiple apartments or anything like that?
It's just me.
Okay.
Single person. I'll show you photos, but.
You've lived there how long?
About 7 years, 6, 7 years.
And you own it?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a fire station that faces on 7th Street?
Yes. Fire group is on the side.
Fire was on the side,
Yep.
and then do you have a
Alley.
alley,
Yep.
and then do you have a parking lot in the back?
Yep, park on actually the whole east side is the whole parking lot.
Parking on the east side?
Well, it's a yard, my yard.
A parking lot in the rear?
Well, there's enough room for parking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's sort of, I mean, if you look at a map or whatever, it's easy to see.
Okay.
There's parking.
So sorry, I write a lot of stuff down because I don't want to forget, and I may ask you the same questions, but.
And there's also 3 signs right there: no trespassing, no parking, private property.
So you have 3 signs
Yes,
that say no trespassing?
no parking and private property.
Brian's frustration runs deep. Years of strangers treating his private driveway like a free-for-all. As a Navy veteran, he's expected to show restraint, not rage. To Brian, property was deeply personal, almost sacred. But the question is, what snapped in a man trained to stay composed?
Is this guy you got the altercation with?
Yes.
And he said I have to get my vehicle?
Well, he goes, oh, I actually asked him 3, 4 times. I said, "Can you stay off my property?" He keeps on coming, I said, "Get off my property." Kept on approaching. He goes, "What about my truck or my truck or, vehicle or whatever, car?" I said, it's on my property. I said, "There's 3 signs right here. No trespassing, no parking, private property."
Okay, 1 second.
Yep.
All right, and just like I said, my memory's bad. So he keeps approaching.
Yep.
And you said it's right here, it's on my property.
There's a sign here, no parking, no trespassing, whatever. I said, I called the cops, I got the tow truck, people are on the way. He literally just reached back and just clocked me. Probably 4 or 5 times. Oh, actually, sorry, before that, he goes, something here.
And here come the racial slurs. The CCTV shows AJ hurling them, the words sharp and ugly in the air. Beneath the violence of language lies a darker layer still. The act that followed was far more brutal than words could ever be.
So at that time, he punches you, much time to take it out.
I started trying to back away and he used to keep on hitting me. I'm like,
where'd you hit him with it, do you know?
Lower stomach.
Okay.
He hit me one more time and I fell back on the rock pile. And dropped the pipe into the rocks, and the officers were trying to find out. I don't know if they did or not.
Okay. So you hit him with the gun, then he punched you one more time?
Yep. And then that's when I actually was able to pick my phone up, and because I had 911 on the phone already.
Boy, once he punched you, again after he got, you hit him only one time?
One time.
And you fell back?
After he hit me the last time.
You fall on the ground or what?
Yeah, I fell on the ground behind me.
Okay, and where did he go at this time?
He went to the right. That's all it did. He went out to the street. And then after that, and he went to, as I was picking the phone up.
So you dropped your phone instead?
Well, I dropped the phone as it hit me. That was, I had 911 on the phone. Right as he called me, I think is when I actually had dialed it.
So you dropped the phone, so you dialed it while?
Well, the verbal altercation.
Did anybody answer, do you know?
It was on the phone. When I picked it up, there was.
Okay. So the phone falls.
Yep.
Runs.
Glasses are somewhere. I don't know where the glasses went, but.
Okay.
He
And
runs to the
what
right.
did he do at that point?
He walked off to the right, and then he went down the alley back to said residence. And then at that time, I'm talking to 911, and right after, not even seconds, 2 people come running down the alley.
Wait, so you picked up the phone and there was an operator on there?
Yes. And I said, I need somebody here now. Gave him my address.
Okay. And what'd you tell him happened?
That I got assaulted and I need somebody here. I didn't know to what point if I had injured him or not. I didn't know. He walked away. I would assume, but.
But you knew you stabbed him?
I had tried. I guess you'd have to ask him that.
Brian speaks with remarkable confidence, twisting the story as if he's the victim, keeping his entitlement intact. His words mask the brutality of his actions, but the facts remain undeniable. He chose violence. Nothing justifies his resort to violence. And now, the question is not why it happened, but what will finally hold him accountable.
What was your point when you stabbed him?
To defend myself on my own property.
Okay.
Because I really don't want another concussion.
Okay. So you tell them that, and then what do you do from there?
And he went down the alley back to the residence.
Yeah.
As I'm talking to the operator, whatever, 2 individuals come down the alley, and I close my door and lock it.
So you go inside your house?
Yep. I didn't want nothing to do with them.
So you see 2 people?
Yep. Approaching. So I don't know if he was hurt that bad, if he was coming back.
Right. Okay.
And then that's when I was talking to the operator inside. And she says they're on their way. And then I was gonna head upstairs, not even, 2 minutes later, whatever, I had seen the lights out front. Actually, the tow truck driver called me, said, hey, I'm here. I peeked out the door, and I said, I have to wait inside right now. I was that terrified. I didn't know what the other individuals were going to do. But the tow truck driver was there. I said, as soon as the police are here, I'll come out. I went to the front of the building, seen the flashing lights. I came out, ran into the tow truck driver guy, then went to the front of my house and literally talked to, Chad, I don't remember his last name, the officer in charge or whatever, and he took my keys, took my phone, took my wallet, patted me down, and put me in the back of the car.
Okay. So you came out and talked to them, the cops from there out front, and told them what happened.
Yep.
Okay.
And there was a slew of them.
Yeah. And then they tell you what, you told them what happened exactly, what you just told me.
Yep. The Chad, I don't know his last name, I'm sorry.
Okay.
The only reason I know his first name is because I heard the other guy ask him.
Yeah, yeah.
And like I said, I'm just trying to protect myself. I go to I'm 100% disabled vet. I go to the VA on a weekly basis for medical conditions that I have.
The motive Brian offers for stabbing AJ feels trivial, yet he presents it with conviction. Many veterans do suffer from PTSD, and some can react explosively to seemingly minor provocations. Still, that cannot excuse the sheer violence of driving a blade into someone. Brian frames it as self-preservation, but the narrative only weakens his defense.
I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a tough situation because we found out that he had passed.
Okay.
So.
No, it's really tough.
Yeah. Sorry, I know it's a lot of stress for you too. Seriously, Brian, I apologize. I mean, I can explain like what I can see happening here, or like as far as what the process is. Before I do that, is there anything else that you think of that maybe I missed or that would have happened? What did you get by idea?
Put it or recall it.
Right. I know you didn't want this to happen, so you know, I'm just trying to figure it out. But
I don't think we have to do anything right now.
Okay.
Sorry, it's
okay.
A little
So, from my experience in this in the past, okay, I had to make sure that we understood everything that happened, okay?
Yeah.
And like I said, they'll go through all the video that they have out there. And one of the things that we're going to have to do, though, is we can't make the determination by ourselves whether what happens with you right now, okay? Other than the fact that someone's dead, right? And you got to solve it, okay? But I have to do right by him just as much as I have to do right by you.
I understand that.
So I'll take pictures. I'm going to have him take some pictures and stuff like that. I'm assuming, you know, he touched you, your clothes, we'll get your clothing and stuff like that.
Push me.
Right.
It's,
That's what I mean.
And then, like I said, right here and then right here.
Okay.
So
I'll have some photos of that. We'll have to get your clothing. Okay. And then what we'll end up doing is we'll work through the night on this, and we'll talk to our county attorney in the morning. Okay. At your house, or it sounds like the thing was outside. You have a permit to carry too, you said? Mm-hmm. And you do have weapons in your house?
I do.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
Weapons, I mean firearms? Okay. But you have a permit to carry.
Yeah, and I could have easily went back in and got that, but I chose not to.
Right.
like I said, she'll go up and say, hey, I'm sorry, I'll move it, fine.
Right.
When they attack me, I have to defend myself.
Yeah. And you said you have, do you have guns in the house? Like guns by the door or anything like that?
No, they're locked away.
Okay, you locked away guns. Okay. All right. Make sure to make that up too.
Brian sticks to his claims of self-defense like a lifeline in a game show. What's unsettling is how casually he says that he could have brought a gun instead, but chose not to, as if that somehow earns him credit. But a death is a death. Whether by bullet or blade, the result is the same. A young man lost forever. Brian's trial in March 2023 lasted 3 days. Prosecutors said he escalated a parking dispute, used racial slurs, and started the fight. The defense cited self-defense, his Navy background, and his health. Though found guilty of second-degree unintentional murder, he avoided prison time. He was sentenced to 364 days in the Ramsey County Workhouse, eligible for work release or electronic home monitoring, placed on 10 years probation, ordered to pay restitution, and perform community service.
What garbage did you take out that day? Some trash I found on my way out after I turned in my report. Where'd you find it? It was on the second floor. The second floor? Yeah. What was on our apartment? I don't remember. You don't remember?
On the night of October 17th, 2015, 27-year-old Sasha Samsadian was last seen before she was found brutally strangled to death inside her apartment. She had bruises on her chest from multiple blows, and her ripped clothing suggested assault. As the investigation unfolded, suspicion immediately fell on the building security guard, Stephen Duxbury, the last person seen with Sasha, assisting her to get inside her apartment.
She didn't invite me into her apartment. And if we're going to continue on this line of discussion, I think we're done here for now.
The more Stephen tried to distance himself, the harder detectives worked to stay one step ahead of him.
Because there's audio. I'm partially aware of audio along with video. Actually, I didn't know that. You didn't? No, I didn't know that the things were actually did audio.
Will Stephen be able to outsmart the detectives in his game of deception? Or will they succeed in their attempt to expose the dark motive and bring it into light? On the night of October 17th, Sasha and her friends went out for a night. The following morning, Sasha was supposed to meet her friend Anthony Roper, but she didn't show up and did not respond to his text, which was quite unusual. As Anthony grew suspicious, he and Sasha's friends went to her apartment to check on her. When they arrived, Sasha didn't respond to their calls, so Anthony decided to call 911.
Hi, I need to fill out a missing persons report. We went to her apartment to go check. She's there, and she's gone.
And what is her first name?
Her first name is Sasha.
Is this peculiar for her? Has she not done this before? Is she think she would hurt herself or others?
Absolutely not.
When the police arrived at her apartment, they stepped into a nightmare. Sasha was brutally murdered, lying on her bed and partially wrapped in a blanket. After examining the apartment, the officers turned their focus to Stephen Duxbury, the last person to see Sasha alive. In an attempt to gain further insights into how this gruesome murder occurred, he was swiftly taken into custody for questioning.
When was the last time you saw her? What's her name? I think, well, I know because I saw the news stuff that it's like Sasha something or other. Okay, Sasha. Okay, so when was the last time you had contact with her? Yeah, what was it, the night before? Yeah, it was Friday night. Okay, so when you first had contact with her on Friday night, yep. What was the situation? I had been doing a perimeter patrol, and I had come upon 3 girls that were at the Marks and North Orange entrance, and looked like they were trying to get inside the building. So I'm like, "Evening, ladies, having an issue with the thing?" And then kind of chuckling because I see that happen all the time with the drunks. Mm-hmm. Well, as I'm starting to walk off, then I got called over by 2 of the ladies. And they told me that that this was their friend, and
they really didn't know her. They found her wandering around downtown somewhere in kind of a drunken, stupor. I mean, the way she was moving, she looked like she was pretty out of it. And I guess they got out of her where she lived, so they brought her to Uptown, but she didn't have her key fob with her. She didn't have her keys. She didn't even have any ID. And I'm like, well, if she doesn't have any of that, I cannot help her. I cannot allow her into the building based on what my policies are. Right. Well, as I'm talking to them, another resident, a male, an older gentleman, comes up and he sees us all there and he kind of chuckles. He's like, "You guys aren't all robbers, are you?" I'm like, "No, sir." And, kind of looking at my uniform. And he's like, "Okay." Opens the door, walks in, she follows. Finish talking with the ladies, I go in, intent on, finding where this girl is to make sure that, she actually is supposed to be here. She's not just wandering around the building. Well, she was just wandering around the building for a while. Finally, I guess she gets to her apartment, 3:45, and she's trying to enter in the code. She's got one of those digital deadbolt things with the buttons on the outside where you can enter in a code. And how did you find her on the third floor? I patrolled. I checked the buildings. I checked the floors. So how did she get up there? Do you know? Either elevator or stairs. There are multiple. There are 2 different elevators and 4 different stairwells in the building. Yeah, so she thought maybe she had her key. She left her keys in her car, so she asked me if I would bring her to the parking garage because since she doesn't have a key fob, she wouldn't be able to get back into the building. So I'm like, sure, whatever. I've dealt with this before with other drunks who have done stuff like that. So I walk out with her, and before we even get to a car, she's like, "Wait, I think I remember the number now." So we go back in. I bring her to the door. She's there, punching the numbers away, trying to remember what it is, and I'm just thinking to myself, God. Not exactly the smartest, or not the smartest, but the most professional way to be thinking this, but I have to babysit a lot of trucks in that place. Oh, and just a pain. So I'm like, okay, look, I'm going to leave you here, keep trying to, plug away at this. When I come back, if you have not figured this out, we're going to have to do something about this, which is either she's going to have to figure out, somehow get a hold of her friend, or I'm going to be calling the PD and have them deal with her. Okay. When I come back around after walking around, she's not there. So I'm like, okay, she must be in the building. She must have gotten in, because I checked the building, there was no sign of her. And then later on in the evening during my patrol, I thought I saw her again with some guy. You thought you saw the same girl? Yeah, I mean, I didn't really get a good look at her face, but the height, the hair, and the skin color was about the same thing. And again, like I said, I'd never seen this woman before, so. Was she wearing the same clothes? Well, the pants were, I think, the same, but I think she had changed her top to like a white top or something. Again, they weren't doing anything that was really out of the ordinary, so I just kind of glanced at them and just continued on my patrol. So when you saw her, when you were escorting her to her car, when you first made contact with her, and she was wearing a purple top and white pants. Purple top, yep, and white pants. Yes. Okay. You remember what kind of shoes or anything like that? I think sandals. Okay. Yeah. She was walking, as I call it, flat foot. And she could barely walk. I mean, she's stumbling all over the place. At one point, she's like kind of hanging onto me, trying to stay on her feet. So, I mean, this girl was gone. Okay. And so when you came back, she wasn't around. Nope. And I did not see her when I searched the entire building and the parking garage and the perimeter. Okay. At any point, did you knock on the door to see if she was okay? Or no, I mean, to be honest, once they're in their apartment, they're not really my responsibility because it's a condo. They're not actually apartments. They're owned by the building, so it's not really my responsibility to check up on people. Plus, I'm not allowed to go into apartments, especially if there's only one person there. I would actually I would have had to either have another person in the apartment with them, preferably someone of the opposite side or whatever, or a police officer with me, because that's a liability I am not setting my foot into. Okay, so I guess it's fair to say you've never been in her apartment? No, never. Okay. Well, this should be pretty easy. And so the next day, what time did you leave that day? I leave about, I get off shift at 6 a.m., but usually I don't leave till like 20, 30 minutes later because of finishing up my report, changing into civilian clothes, that particular day I'd actually taken some trash out to the dumpster because I found some after I turned in my report. So I figured, okay, I'll just throw it away.
And where did you find the trash?
That was in the hallway. It was on the second floor. So about like 3 bags worth.
Well, do you remember what apartment it was in front of?
No, unfortunately I don't. I just, as I was walking through, I saw, I'm like, I'm on my way out anyway.
Do you normally do that, or?
I just saw it on the way out. I mean, if I'm on duty, I take snapshots of it and I leave it there, let the office deal with it, but I was already off duty and I wasn't going to just fill out a whole new report just for 3 bags of trash. So it'd be nice for the housekeeping person, I just threw it away for them.
During the investigation, detectives uncover a pivotal piece of evidence that raises an immediate red flag. Moments after Sasha's murder, CCTV footage reveals Stefan taking out trash bags from the apartment complex, an unusual procedure for him. And the same trash bags are identical to the ones found in Sasha's apartment. This evidence is just a step into unraveling a complex web of lies designed to expose the facade beneath Stefan's calm demeanor.
And then, so you go home, and you come back the next day at what time?
About 9:30ish. I'd gotten there early because I made good time. And I saw that there were 2 police vehicles parked over by the little parking area before you get into the garage. So I stopped, went over to the officers, identified myself as a security officer for the building, just because I want to know what's going on. I figured maybe there was a car accident or something like that, at which point they told me they were here doing a check on
well-being?
Yeah, well-being, or actually I think they said missing persons, because I figured there were a couple of people there that I guess were, they identified as their friends.
Okay.
And they asked me if I had a way to get into any of the apartments, which I don't. And he's like, oh, well, could you go to this apartment and meet the officer there? I'm like, yeah, sure. Go into the building, park, go over to the 3rd floor, and I meet with the officer, and he's there punching in numbers, trying, I guess, checking to see if it was a police officer override code for these kind of locks or something. But he couldn't access it. And he asked me if I had keys. I'm like, no, don't have access to the apartments.
So when you got there, were you in uniform that time?
No, I was wearing a Deadpool shirt and pants and my shoes.
So did you change first before you went up there, or you just went?
No, I went straight there because I wasn't actually on duty yet. I was still off duty.
Okay.
And when we couldn't get access to officers, like, well, if you want to go change, go ahead. We'll still be here. I'm like, okay.
So how did they get into the apartment?
I honestly do not. I think they either got a hold of either the family or the actual owner of the condo who was renting it, and they had the code.
Okay.
I pretty much, once they were doing their thing, I pretty much stayed away from them because I didn't want to, bother them. And if they needed me for anything, they just called me.
Okay. And so, when was the first time you found out that she was deceased?
It was later on that evening.
About what time?
I honestly don't remember. I remember them saying that they, initially when they told me something was going on, they said, well, we have a crime scene, and that's all we're telling you. Because I'm like, okay, well, I got to call my boss. And later that night, I guess the property manager said that either they told her or she overheard, I can't quite remember, but they said that they discovered a body.
Okay, so now have you heard how she died at all?
No, I mean, I heard a lot of, possibilities because I was talking to my boss and he's like, well, based on what you said, I mean, she was that drunk, she could have died in her sleep from alcohol poisoning.
Mm-hmm.
I have been following the news, and I guess now they're saying that this is a homicide investigation. So I'm assuming.
Well, when they don't know,
they assume stuff like that.
They always investigate as a homicide until they can rule it otherwise.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, I still, other than what the news has said, I just know what I've been told by the property manager, the officers, and my boss, which hasn't been much.
Okay, so you have no idea what her cause of death is?
No.
No. Okay, you never overheard anybody say anything about that, or you have any speculation as to how she may have passed?
No.
Okay.
I mean, other than, like I said, what they told me, I mean, as bad as it sounds, I kind of hope it was, she just died of alcohol poisoning, because if not, it's like,
how old was she?
I don't know.
Guesstimation?
Their 20s, maybe?
Wow, that young?
I mean, it could be mid to late 20s. I don't know. I'm terrible at judging ages. I mean,
What can you tell me about polygraph?
It's a lie detector. I know you're going to be sticking electrode things or whatever, basically sensors to me, and it's going to measure my response based on the questions you ask me.
Yeah,
Yes and no.
kind of it. Basically what I'll be doing is constantly recording your physiological changes in your body. Now, what are those? You ever heard of fight, flight, or freeze?
Yep.
Okay.
That's that personally.
Exactly. So that's basically how it works, is the way our bodies react to certain dangers or stresses. Okay. Obviously, you're probably nervous here today because you've never had a polygraph.
Yeah.
Your nervousness is not going to affect the test whatsoever. Okay. So just like we went over the numbers question, I'm going to go over the questions before the test. Okay.
Okay.
These are going to be very simple and straight to the point.
Okay.
It's going to basically this is how it's going to go. Do you know if Sasha was poisoned?
Now, do you want me to answer these now? No.
Was she shot with a .22?
No.
Was she stabbed?
No.
Was she choked?
No.
Was she shot with a .38?
No.
Was she hit with a hammer?
No.
Was she hit with a chair?
No.
Okay. Plain and simple.
Okay.
All right?
That's good.
But it's very important for you to focus on the task at hand, okay?
Yes.
I'm asking you very specifically if you know something.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't.
And so, as I'm asking you,
Yeah, don't think, just answer.
Yep, and answer honestly.
Stefan's claim of not asking anyone about Sasha's murder raises further suspicion. It's a natural human instinct to feel curiosity after something mysterious happens. We want to know why and how it happened. However, Stephen's statement shows a lack of curiosity or emotions. Additionally, during the polygraph, his heart rate eventually increases, even during routine questioning, which seems quite puzzling. This discrepancy between verbal calm and psychological chaos eventually indicates stress. In the upcoming clip, as the detective probes him further, Stefan's story is about to fall apart, ultimately shattering his illusion of innocence.
We'll go through some questions on this next test.
Okay.
All right. Now this is all specific as far as the incident at Uptown. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's more directed to make sure that you had no involvement in anything that may have happened to Sasha. All right.
Okay.
So these questions should be very specific for you, and you should have no problem answering these questions.
Okay.
All right. Because what we talked about, I did, after we talked, I jotted down some questions. So here are the questions I'm going to ask you about that night.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
Did you enter Sasha's apartment that night?
No.
Okay. Do you know who caused Sasha's death?
No.
Did you cause Sasha's death?
No.
Did you remove any items from Sasha's apartment?
No.
Okay. Very straightforward, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now some of the questions are kind of about you. It's about your character. Whether or not you're the kind of person that would do something like this if it was something that, if something was to happen to her by somebody else, that you weren't the kind of person that would do that. So in your opinion, how was it?
Kind of a little difficult just because trying to keep my mind still from doing what we normally do when I hear things, especially with what's been going on. Like when I maybe do the first one, because all I could do was think about all those horrible things. But, I mean,
I'm just saying, as far as your opinion about polygraph.
Oh, sorry. Actually, wasn't what I thought it was going to be.
No?
No.
Not that bad?
No, not at all. Kind of neat, actually. I mean, I was actually surprised by these things here. The ones that went around my chest and my abdomen. That's kind of neat. Because usually when you see it, like, you know, they've got like the sensors like they do for EKGs. I've never seen something like this. What it is.
That's key. That's how it used to only be just one.
Mm-hmm.
But then they come to realize that
people breathe from here and from here.
Women and men are usually different.
Mm-hmm.
Men, we're slobs, we have poor posture.
Yeah.
So we're what we call belly breathers.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why the upper abdomen is. Women usually have a better posture. They sit up and they're chest breathers.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now they've included both just in case, because that's not excluding that men couldn't be chest breathers and women can't be belly breathers. So, can't be. Nope. So we're both in agreement. Now you're helping me grade this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you're telling me R3, and this has been consistent on every chart, right? So we got R3, R5, R8, and R9's questionable.
I guess, I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to the R parts.
But, well, these are the numbers that you've been picking on all the charts, okay? So now, read the question to R3.
Did you enter Sasha's apartment that night?
Read R5.
Do you know who caused Sasha's death?
R7. I'm sorry, R8.
Did you cause the death of Sasha?
And R9.
Did you remove any items from Sasha's apartment?
Okay.
Okay.
So basically what you told me, okay, I let you look at the charts. I let you tell me what jumped out of the screen off the charts at you.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yep.
So we are of the same opinion that the only thing that really seems to be bothering you on this test is these relevant questions that pertain to the situation that we're here dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
So, how it's scored. All right, I'm just telling you all the technical stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So we score the relevant questions. Okay, and that's how we score. We compare the relevance to these other questions.
Okay.
And this is how it works. I don't know if you did any research on it. Anyway. All right.
That should have been one of your questions.
That's okay. I thought about throwing that in there because we had advance warning, but to me it's not a big deal. I would, I see some issues with the breathing. I mean, when I'm able to count and it's constantly the same count, it shows me that, it's kind of questionable whether you were thinking about your breathing, but that's neither here nor there. Because I only need 2 of the 3 tracing, or here 4, to get a good score for the charts. Okay, so here's my score sheet. Relevant 3, 5, 8, and 9. Okay, the P is for the breathing. These are the 2, they're called pneumograph tubes. Okay, so it starts with a P. So you have the top one, bottom one. We look at the R3 compared to R6 and the 4. We compare them and we look for any differences. Here, for the most part, on all charts, I didn't really see anything different on any of the breathing. So your breathing didn't change at all during the charts. Okay. E is for the electrodromal activity, which is this middle line here. Okay. So what I do is I compare this. So I count. See these little squares or rectangles? I count how far it goes up compared to the control questions.
Okay.
And I compare those, and it either gets a plus or minus. In this case, when a person has more issues with the relevant question than they do the control question, then, because we all know, and we've all had these issues where, there's been a time in your life where we've had physical contacts or physical issues with people. Okay, and we've been in fights, we've done all that stuff. And it's kind of, we know that, but when we ask the question, that's supposed to bother you more because you're kind of lying about that because you're remembering an incident, compared to you shouldn't have any problem with the issue at hand if there was nothing involved there. Okay, so technically the control questions should look like this, and the relevance should look like the controls.
Okay, so what you're saying is this is not good?
This is not good.
Okay.
Although Stefan attempts to stay composed, his body doesn't lie. The detective reminds him of the precise thoughts that triggered his anxiety and eventually reveals deception. Meanwhile, Sasha's body is being swabbed for DNA. Results will eventually help detectives identify the real culprit. The autopsy reveals that Sasha had been beaten with such severity that she endured a major internal neck fracture. In light of these disturbing details, there is an enigmatic detail that further solidifies the detective's suspicion of Stefan. When he was brought into custody, officers noticed scars on his arms that appeared like bite marks, leading them to believe that he is hiding something sinister.
You know, the issue is, my thing is after talking to you, I don't think you're a bad guy. You're a really smart guy. You seem to be a good guy. You've had some things happen in your life that's screwed up.
Yep.
And, you know, and you've had to deal with a lot more than most people had to do. And I get that. But there comes a time where sometimes things happen and people freak out. Okay? And they make a mistake and then they panic. And, you know, it comes to what would look better, you know, because right now there's, you know, the detectives, they have, you know, stuff they're looking at and they're getting reports back with, you know, all the forensic stuff they're doing. And I know you've been cooperating, and that's a huge factor for you. Okay? That is huge. But the thing is, when it comes to this, okay, you know, obviously my report's going to say that you didn't do too good on this test.
Yeah.
All right, and I have to explain that. Okay? So, you know, I'm here to listen to you. If you want to talk and explain to me why you might have had some issues on these questions. Okay? Because if something happened, it was an accident, and you panicked because maybe, from what I understand, she was being very flirtatious to other people, and that's what got her there to the apartment, because those two girls grabbed her before she got in the car with some guys. And
I don't know about that.
No, I know you don't know. That happened before she got to the uptown. Okay. These girls didn't even know her, and that's why they told you.
Yeah.
We don't even know her. But what happened is they snatched her up and they got her away from those guys because she was being very, very flirtatious. Okay. And so, you know, based on this, there's something going on here. Okay. And so maybe she somehow talked you into coming in. Well, the chart's saying that you did. This is huge. And this is, did you enter her apartment?
No, I didn't.
All right, well.
I mean, the only thing, honestly, the situation is bothering me. I mean, about the whole thing about her. I mean, I'll be straight up. This whole situation has been bothering me. And just.
Well, without even being a polygraph examiner, you were able to show me each question you had issue with. And every single one of them on every single chart was the relevant questions. So that means there's something there. There's something that you're not telling the complete truth about. Something's bothering you about this situation, and you're not being 100% honest with me about it. That's what I can tell you, and that's all I can tell the detectives, that there is something there that you're not being 100% honest about. Now, if she invited you in to have a few drinks or something like that, or whatever it was, you need to be honest about it, because this is saying you know something, and that something happened. This is what this is telling me. And you yourself agreed that these were the situations.
That's something that points out, but I mean.
Like I said, sometimes things happen. If she was over flirtatious and something happened and you panicked, we can understand that. But if you can feel that, and, you know, all the evidence comes in, and you had your opportunity today to talk about it, it's not going to look good, because if there was an accident, that's one thing that we can explain away. But if you don't talk about it, and it comes back, it makes it look like you're, what, a monster. Okay? And I don't think you're that kind of person. Okay? The same stuff happened to you when you were little. You told me about that.
Yeah. And recently with the whole getting stabbed thing.
Right. So you told me about that. Okay? So you understand what it's like. And so, with that being said, you got to understand that we need to explain this stuff away. It's very important for you. And
I don't know what to talk about. I mean, nothing happened. I mean, I never went into her apartment. So, I mean, I don't know why it reacted the way it did.
because your autonomic system that you can't control kicked in. You have no control over that. That's why this works so well. So now I'm going to let this do it. There. What's that say?
Significant reactions. Probably this result was produced by a truthful person.
0.003% chance that the result was produced by a truthful person. Damn. 0.003% chance that you were truthful on this test today. This is the report that detectives really did. So what I'll do is I'm going to explain to the... You come in? Hey, Dr. David, how you doing? Pretty good. Thanks. I was just showing you, this is the computer scoring the charts. 0.003% chance that the results were produced by a truthful person. So that's basically 99.7% chance that he's being deceitful. Okay. So now I'll let you guys talk. Are you okay, Steve?
Well, not anymore. Based on what this thing is telling me.
Dave, I've been doing this for a while. And I really don't think you're a bad person. I really don't. But sometimes good people do bad things. Does not make you a bad person. Sometimes you just overreact, or sometimes you could be enticed into doing something. One thing we're asking from you, Steve, is just the truth. It's just the truth. Okay? That's difficult for a lot of people. But you've been in the military. You have a lot of life experience. And I understand some bad things have happened to you in life.
Yep.
And lying is never going to make it better. Because I can see it in your eyes, Steve. I can see it in your eyes. Something has been laying heavy on your heart ever since you found out. It's been laying heavy on your heart. Have you thought about anything else?
Just that something bad's happened on my watch.
Something bad has happened.
The detective confronts Stefan with facts, challenging his credibility without being aggressive. This calculated move by the detective can encourage the suspect to reconsider their stance, especially when they know the evidence is incriminating. Yet Stefan tries to appear composed, even though he senses that the detective is closing in on him. Meanwhile, as the investigation continues, detectives uncover fingerprints underneath the toilet seat lid in Sasha's apartment, along with shoe prints seemingly larger than hers. Since Stefan was the last person to see Sasha alive and is the primary person of interest, detectives retrieve his shoes for examination. As the detective realizes that Stefan isn't going to crack easily, other detectives step up with a different strategy. The story that is supposed to keep him safe will ultimately become the very thing to turn the tables against him.
Listen, Steve, I will tell you this. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't want to hurt her.
I didn't hurt
her. Steve, can we at least agree that you did go inside? Now, you may not have hurt her.
I did not go inside of her apartment.
There's a lot of physical evidence. Even after she invited you in?
She didn't invite me into her apartment.
See, you know there's audio. There's audio. We can hear you too.
She didn't invite me into her apartment. And if we're going to continue on this line of discussion, I think we're done here for now. And I'm going to go home, I'm going to take a nap, and I'm going to go to work. If you guys want to talk to me again some other time, we'll have a lawyer involved, because at this point, I don't feel comfortable talking with you detectives. Because it sounds to me like you're trying to make me say something, like I did something and I did not.
We want the truth is all we want.
Well, you have the truth. I'm sorry that some of my stuff has been kind of spotty. I'm sorry I may have forgotten some key details or even minor details that look really bad when they're not told. But I have told you everything. I've been more than cooperative. I mean, I even told you yesterday that I wasn't familiar, and I'm not kind of nervous about these things. I still came in today.
You did.
Now I'm looking at this, now I'm seeing this as a mistake to come in for this, because now it just makes it look like I did something, because obviously I'm bothered by the situation. There was a dead person that I saw in the building I'm responsible for the security of.
But one thing I can't do, Stephen, is change the result.
I know,
you do understand that.
No, I understand that.
No, I understand you've already said that you're done for the day.
Yeah,
I do understand that, and I respect that. But you have to know this isn't going away.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
I'm looking at it now,
Mm-hmm.
and to be honest with you, I wish it was the other way around.
Yeah, me too. Because obviously this probability is good for me.
That the result was produced by a truthful person.
Mm-hmm.
I wish it was 99.99% probability that this result was produced by a truthful person, but it isn't. I'm not qualified to administer that test. The person who did is overly qualified, and it is what it is. With all that being said, we will make sure to get you back out to your vehicle.
Thank you, sir.
Okay?
On October 23, 2015, the police obtained a search warrant for Stefan's home and phone. The shocking details that came to light exposed the heartless predator. Stefan's phone records revealed that on October 17, 2015, he had searched how to override a deadbolt lock, similar to the one on Sasha's front door. Additionally, another piece of undeniable evidence was uncovered: fingerprints, footprints, and DNA found inside Sasha's apartment all conclusively matched Stefan. Despite Stefan's attempt to disassociate himself from this ruthless murder, he unknowingly left a trail of evidence that ultimately sealed his fate. On October 30, 2015, Stefan Duxbury was arrested and charged with first-degree murder, attempted battery, and burglary. The jury found Stefan guilty of all charges. Circuit Judge Lisa T. Munyon sentenced Stefan to 2 life sentences in prison and an additional 15 years for the burglary conviction.